In the first half of the NBA season, the Philadelphia 76ers have started with a 24-12 record, and they are currently the first seed in the Eastern Conference, and they have looked like one of the best teams in the league. So in today's video, I'll be giving 5 reasons why I think the Philadelphia 76ers could win the NBA championship. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video to help my channel grow, subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA videos, and to help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and comment on this video to start a conversation with me because I respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. The first reason I think the 76ers could win the championship is because they are a fantastic defensive roster, as they are currently the 5th best defensive team in the whole league. And outside of just ranking high on defense, this is just a very good defensive team. As we all know, they have Joel Embiid, who is one of the best defenders in the league, as he's the most intimidating paint defender in the league. And he definitely has to be in the race for Defensive Player of the Year, as he's the defensive anchor to a top 5 defense. This is also a team with Ben Simmons, who is also one of the best defenders in the whole league, and arguably might be better than his teammate in Embiid. Since while Embiid dominates defensively in the paint, Simmons is a top 5 perimeter defender in the league, as he's a 6'10" strong forward who is as quick as most guards in the league and has great defensive IQ. You could put Ben on a lot of all-stars in the league, and he could legitimately lock them down, and against superstars, he could do just as good as a job as anyone else in the league. And this is a huge advantage, since in the East, there are guys like Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and plenty of others that could go off on the 76ers, but Ben could do a great job on them. Danny Green isn't as good as he was before on defense, but he's still an above average defender. Shake Milton is a bigger guard whose size could give certain guards problems. Matisse Thybulle is also an amazing perimeter defender who I think could do a very good job on a lot of star players in the East. And against teams like the Nets, Bucks, and Pacers who have multiple scorers on the perimeter, you will need a lot of perimeter defenders. This team also has a few not great defenders like Tobias Harris and Seth Curry. But the thing is that those guys aren't even horrible defenders. So in my opinion, in the East, the Philadelphia 76ers are the best defensive team that has a realistic chance to actually make the finals, which is a huge advantage. The second reason I think the Philadelphia 76ers could win the championship, because this is a team with a bunch of three-point shooting, and this is great, since in prior seasons, the problem with this Philadelphia team was the fact that they lacked three-point shooting, and that was a huge problem, since their 2 best players are paint scorers who need spacing. But now they have a plethora of shooting, and they now have Seth Curry, who is one of the best shooters in the whole league, as he's shooting 44% from 3, and he's a guy who defenses definitely can't leave open. They also have Danny Green, who is very on and off as a shooter, but defenses still will never leave him open, as he is shooting 37% from 3. Shake Milton has been struggling from 3 this season, as he's been shooting 31%, but he's still a guard who defenses won't leave open. Tobias Harris has taken his game to the next level, as he's shooting 40% from 3. And even Joel Embiid, who has been a pretty bad 3-point shooter the last few seasons, has been shooting 41% from 3. So this is a team that could get on fire from distance and compete with the Nets and Bucks on offense. And in the playoffs, teams won't be able to lock down Embiid by double teaming him, and teams won't be able to shut down Ben Simmons as easily. He'll have to do that to himself. So this team's 3-point shooting is very good, and I think it'll be very key to their success. The third reason I think the Philadelphia 76ers could win the championship is simply because they have Joel Embiid, who has been dominant this season. And Joel has played like a top 5 player in the league. And at this current moment, he definitely has to be the #1 MVP candidate, as he's been averaging a ridiculous 30 points per game and 11 rebounds, shooting 52% from the field and 41% from 3, while leading his team to the best record in his conference. and Embiid's dominant play definitely has increased the chance of winning a championship. Since before, I'd argue that Embiid was only a top 8 to 12 player, which is definitely elite, but not a superstar player. But this season, he has joined the tier of players like Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, and others. And having a guy who was a top 4 to 7 player on your team, and having a guy who can play at that elite level is definitely an advantage. Joel also is literally unstoppable, and the only centers who could give Embiid some serious problems is guys like Marc Gasol and Al Horford, and both of those guys are significantly older now than they were before, and they're not even in the Eastern Conference anymore. And Joel is just way better than he was back then. So in the playoffs, no one, and I mean no one, will be able to stop him. And when it comes to playoffs, it will be more on his teammates to step up, because unless he's injured, I could honestly see Embiid's regular season production staying the same in the postseason, which is a huge advantage and could really help them win the championship. The fourth reason I think the Philadelphia 76ers could win the championship is because Tobias Harris has been much improved this season, as he's been averaging 20 points and 7 rebounds, shooting 51% from the field and 40% from 3. And his improvement has gotten to the point where he's an elite perimeter scorer and is very important, since if he continued his play like he did last season, their best perimeter scorer would only be a slightly above average scorer. But now I think Tobias could really be a proper closer on this team from the perimeter, and he has even showed a great clutch ability this season, as in the fourth quarter he shoots an efficient 52% from the field and 52% from 3. So I think against elite teams like the Nets, Bucks, Celtics, and others, you will need someone on the perimeter to hit big shots, and I think Tobias could be the guy to do just that at a decent level. Fifth reason I think this Philadelphia 76ers team could win the championship is because they're a very deep team, as they have a lot of solid players coming off their bench, as they have Shake Milton, who has been one of the better bench players in the whole league, as he's been averaging 14 points and 3 assists, and he is also a player who could close out games for them, as he's a very good slasher and scorer. The rookie Tyrese Maxey has been a solid scorer off their bench. For the minutes when Embiid's not on the floor, they have Dwight Howard, who is very good defensively and has helped them out a lot. Matisse Thybulle is a great defender who could be put in to lock down opposing teams' best players. So this is a team that doesn't necessarily have amazing bench pieces, but they have guys who fit a certain role, and they could come in at certain times in the games and really help them win games, which could help them win the championship. To conclude the video, I think the 76ers have a decent enough chance to win the championship, and I'm really impressed with how they've been playing this season, and they definitely have blown my expectations out of the water. And I think they're either the second or third most likely team to make the finals out of the East, and to be honest, I hope they beat the Nets. Anyways guys, that's it for the video. Let me know if you think the Philadelphia 76ers could win the championship. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want more weekly NBA videos like this, and to help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And comment on this video to start a conversation with me, because I respond to all of my comments. And I'm out.